Check 1 2 1 2. Anybody out there today? Doing this prize class. We'll see who joins in. Check 1 2 1 2. What up? What up? Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Peace, peace. Can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. I think I finally figured out the problem. Let me know if you can hear me. Cool, cool. Oh, shucky jucky. Mr. Antoine. Oh, shucky jucky. All right, y'all. We're going to be popping off on Samedi, the Ghede, and graveyard rituals. Just wait for a couple more people to pop in. We're going to go quick little class. Just a little inspiration I had with my brother Antoine earlier today. Reconnecting me back to some of my workings I kind of haven't done in a minute. So, let's get it popping. All right, first of all, who and what are the Ghede? Okay. Well, we know we're dealing with Haitian voodoo. The Ghede are also found in New Orleans. The Ghede are also found in Samedi, which is in Puerto Rico, which is a Puerto Rican voodoo version. The Samedi are also found, the Ghede are also found in the 21 Divisions, which is a Dominican version of voodoo. So it's a common theme across the diaspora here in America, in the Caribbean, and South America, where you'll find the Ghede tradition practice in these different systems throughout here in the West. The Ghede are basically associated with death, sex, the main two, because death and sex is considered life, so it's considered the opposite of death. The Ghede, particularly Baum Samedi, meet you at the crossroad of death to guide you and take you to the underworld, to take you into the realm of the dead. So the barons, or Baun as they say in Creole, is an honorific given title both to various powerful Ghedes and specifically to Baum Samedi. Himself also cognate and pund with Baun Cemetery or Cemetery in some lineages, and representing two different barons in others. All the baron lords are leaders and judges of the dead who here are not the blessed ancestors, but usually they come for the unknown ancestors, the unknown deceased, the forgotten deceased, the ones who were loners, the ones who didn't really have a lot of friends or family or people of that nature. However, through the workings, I found that that's not always the case. Tradition is an enslaving mind control system. So if you believe everything tradition teaches or shares with you, you're going to be messed up. As you know, we're on the left-hand path here. So on the left-hand path, we're trying to buck tradition, programming, and conditioning, and utilize any system you feel necessary or attracted to that can help raise your consciousness. One, help raise and help you overcome your darkness, your shadow side, and master those things, those weaknesses, and make them strengths. So we don't subscribe to any tradition and accept it wholeheartedly or fully. What we do is we find what we're attracted to, what our spirit is guiding us to work with, and we work with it the way our spirit is guiding us to work with it. So this may hurt some people's feelings because they're traditionalists, and they don't understand that the more you stick to tradition, the more you basically enslave yourself. Why is that? Because there's a lot of things in tradition that just don't make a damn sense in today's present world in 2018, but we still hold on to these traditions like it's infallible, like it's law, like it's supposed to be, and you can't question it. Bullshit. That's what I say to that. I'll give you an example. Why in certain traditions do they still use Catholic saints? The tradition the origin of a lot of these traditions, yes, stems back to Africa. There was no African saint. There was no Catholic saints we were using in Africa. But some way, somehow, the justification for that is tradition. Trust me, I've asked plenty of people in different paths in these different traditions why they still do it. And the only cockamamie answer they can give is that it's tradition. Okay? I understand the usage of why it was done in the past. Our ancestors were trying to keep alive our traditions, our rituals, our things of that nature. And so they had to code it, hide it, symbolize it behind the Catholic saints to try to fool, deceive the slave master. But you ain't a slave no more. In today's world, you shouldn't be mentally enslaved with the readily available knowledge that is there waiting for you at the fingertips of your own hand. Yeah, I said it. Anyways, so when we look at the barons, traditionally, yes, they were there for the unknown, the forgotten people who had deceased, but that's not necessarily the case. This is what tradition says, but you have to go in depth and find out for yourself. That's not necessarily the case. Okay? One thing is that the Ghede usually and normally dress in tuxedos. There's a reason for that. For any people who do know or understand, Freemasonry has had a profound effect in the Caribbean islands. Freemasonry is very strong in the Caribbean islands. And it's just not Prince Hall Masonry. It's Freemasonry in general. And so in Haiti, Freemasonry is very strong. And what you have to understand in Freemasonry, the death ritual, okay, funerary rites, processions are a very profound part of Freemasonry. And anybody who's ever attended a funeral where it was presided over by Freemasons, you can understand the process that is taken and done for the funerary rites. In all 3 degrees of Freemasonry, the main 3 degrees before you climb the Jacob's ladder, as they say, the first 3 degrees, you actually ritualize symbolic death so you could understand death. So it's very associated. It makes sense that some of these individuals in Haiti that were Freemasons were also practicing voodoo or voodoo. You have to understand that is how some of those traditions got enhanced by, you say, modern traditions, okay? And the two became one, and thus the Ghede are usually represented in tuxedos, top hats, because that's how worshipful masters dress. Baun Samedi being the worshipful master at the gateway. When you are passing from the physical into the realm of death, Baun Samedi meets you there as the worshipful master to bring you into the realm of death. So understand, this is why some of the clothing is the way it is. Like, for example, if you look at my Lord of Death or Baun Samedi statue, you can see that represented in a tux. Then you see the one I have that symbolically represents Imam Brigitte and Baum Samedi together, and you can see where it represents, and the dress of the tux is symbolic almost of a worshipful master. Okay? So Baum Samedi is befitting of a strong station as a man, particularly a dead man of his station. He is dressed for the grave in a black suit and top hat. He wears dark glasses to protect himself from bright light, or with one lens broken out to demonstrate that he can see into both worlds, the physical and the spiritual. His food is usually very spicy compared to the average food, Caribbean food, that is. It's usually very spicy compared to that. As a matter of fact, one of his drinks is usually rum with peppers. Whew, that shit is intense. A lot of peppers added to it. And the drink is called piman, or however they say it in Creole, piman. And it's very spicy. Usually, like I said, a lot of peppers are put in there, and it's intense. It's sometimes too strong to even drink as a human person. Okay? Cigars. Cigars are symbolic or connected to Baum Samedi. And in some Freemasonic lodges, when they were in recess or they took a break, they would go into a location in the lodge and they would drink and smoke in between certain rituals. So, okay, where am I? While the Ghede in general represent death, Baron himself represents judgment and control over death. Baron may not actually kill a man, but he can give an order for a man to live or die by withholding or granting permission to dig his grave. While some forms of Baum Samedi can speak, and some of the other Baums or Barons can speak, some simply lay still on the ground or floor, or can only speak once their jaws have been tied shut with cotton gauze, as was once done to corpses before the advent of modern embalming. Maman Brigitte. Baron's wife is named Maman Brigitte, or Brigitte, also called Manman or Mamoun, after the honorific title given to the very old or respectable woman. There's some belief that Maman Brigitte came from the Irish through the Celtics into Haiti. I don't buy all that bullshit because somehow people always want to tie some crap into African traditions that goes back to this and that, and I'm tired of that shit, so I'm gonna bypass that crap. All right. The imagery or imagery and functions of Maman Brigitte do not really resemble those of what they consider to be Brigitte of the Irish goddess. That's why I bypassed that. Okay? So that is his wife, and she works closely with him. You could say she is the female goddess of death, working in unison with Baum Samedi, the male or masculine energy of death. Another Ghede is Brav Ghede, Ghede Nebo, or Brav Ghede Nebo. Brav Ghede has personal significance for myself. I've made contact with that. So that's another story. Brav Ghede is one of the ones that usually will come forth when Baum Samedi gives an order. He's considered the axe man, the hitman. Like the mafia, he's considered the axe man or the hitman for Baum Samedi. Once the order is given to take you out, that's what happens. Then you have Ghede Plumage means feathers. Okay, that's one of the other Ghede. And then there's other ones, and particularly Baron of the Cemetery. Some of y'all have asked me before if working with Baum Samedi will bring forth or connect you to Baum Cemetery. In my personal experience, it connected me to Baum Cemetery. Now, Baum Cemetery is no joke. Very strong energy, very death-oriented energy. And if you're not ready, I would say do not play. Okay? Because if you play, you might end up in a little bit of situation. So, let me share with you all some rituals that you can do or work with Baum Samedi, particularly in the graveyard. I know some of y'all may not be graveyard savvy or inclined to do work in the graveyard, but I think it's something that if you're going to work with spirits, you have to eventually get over the fear, if you have any fear, and start working some rituals in the graveyard. Okay? The casting of graveyard spells. The basis behind these spells is that you're eliciting work to be done by the deceased spirits. And these spirits have the ability, because they're in the spiritual realm, to influence the minds of a person or persons that you're trying to either attract to you, bring some kind of pain, destruction to them, depending on the situation. Or you're trying to attract finances and you need to convince your boss to give you some paper, put some paper on top of what you hourly make or salary make. These are good things to do. Okay? When you go to the graveyard, you should wear black, purple, sometimes white clothes. I usually would do black or purple, only because your white clothes are going to get super dirty and you're kind of like going to give the world the hint that you were in the graveyard. And it's like kind of a magnet. White is very clearly seen at night. Black is not. So that's just my personal preference. I wear black or purple when I go into the graveyard. Just remember that. So you can wear the black, the white, or the purple. And that is also done to basically on the left-hand path. Why you're doing it is because you're embodying the spirit, the energy, the vibration and frequency characteristics of Baum Samedi, which is opening the gateway to the realm of the dead. Okay, so keep that in mind, that when you're going into the graveyard, you are the representation of Baum Samedi, so you should have some kind of attributes or some kind of symbols or talismans or something that is connecting you to being that representation of the Lord of Death. Okay, the Ghede of Death. Now, of course, you should come with your tools in hand. Candle, cigar, rum. Main three things you should bring. If you want to bring an offering, you should have all that already prepared. Do not be unorganized going into the graveyard. You have very little time before attention is drawn to you. So come prepared. Now, if you want to do a spell for money, you can time it where you go on the night of the new moon. Again, on the left-hand path, the planetary bodies do not have any hold on you. You are actually the master on the left-hand path who actually has influence over natural phenomena. Natural phenomena is not controlling you, affecting you. Mercury retrograde and all that bullshit that people run off at the mouth and run and hide under the covers because Mercury retrograde is here. You believe in Mercury retrograde, then you believe in anything. And what I mean by that is this: not that Mercury retrograde doesn't happen, but if you believe that you're weak to the whims and the energy and frequency that is emanating, that you have no control of your life, that you just got to let it pass, then you'll forever be mentally enslaved. I don't care if you're a witch, a sorcerer, and if you still believe in that shit, then you still have some religious beliefs that you have no power over yourself. On the left-hand path, you have total control and power of yourself. So if you choose to do it on the new moon, fine. But that is not essentially what you have to do. You choose when your spirit's guiding you to do it. When you hear that spirit saying, let's do it tonight, let's do it tonight, let's do it tonight, do it tonight. Don't wait till the new moon, because your spirit's energy and frequency is high. The vibration is high, so it's actually assimilating the death current and processing it. So when you're working it, it's at a higher rate and vibration frequency than if you wait to the new moon, and you may not even be into it by then. Anyways, go to the graveyard at midnight hour or 3 a.m. and find the grave if you can. If you know it, if you're able to do research beforehand, fine. If not, you're just going to have to let your spirit guide you. But find the grave of a very rich person. Take with you a silver coin. Doesn't matter if it's a nickel, a dime, a quarter, whatever. Take with you a silver coin of any denomination. Take some small stones and throw them gently upon the grave and speak quietly but firmly. And say, wake up from your slumber. Or, I command you to awaken. I command you to awaken. I command you to awaken. Then speak the following. Now, traditionally, this is what you would say, but in the left-hand path, I'll show you the difference towards the end. In the name of Baun Samedi, Lord of Dead, I, you say your name, do make a bargain with you, and you say the name of the deceased, and then you say, you will prosper in the realm of the dead and make amends for your past misdeeds, indiscretions, and selfish ways for the kindness you will show this night. Quickly now, move fast, obtain for me, and give me the fortune that you know, and I will leave a silver coin upon your grave. At the count of 3, you will leave your place of rest and do what I have asked, but first I will pay you a silver coin to bind you to our bargain. You take the coin, you place it on the earth at the grave and count slowly to 3. And you sit there quietly. Then at the count of 9, you will return to whence you came and resume your rest, having fulfilled the bargain. So in other words, you give a little time in between for the spirit. Once you send it off, when you feel the time is right, then you count to 9 and you tell the spirit to come back once the bargain is fulfilled. Count slowly from 1 to 9 or 9 to 1. If by the time you're done with the ritual, you hear a strange sound, it could be any sound, then it means money's coming your way. But if all of a sudden you're filled with a sudden terror, fearful, freaking out, the answer is no. Okay? Now, on the left-hand path, how would you do that? Instead of saying in the name of Baun Samedi, Lord of the Dead, you would say, I, Baun Samedi, then say your spiritual name, okay? Make a bargain with you. Then you name the deceased. You should know the name of the deceased because it should be on a tombstone. All right? You should know, so don't say I didn't know the name of the deceased. You sign a tombstone. That's why I say you got to pre-plan this. You just can't go in there and be like, okay, I'm going to work this and then freak out when you're there. Okay, so you would say, I, Baum Samedi, with your spiritual name afterwards, meaning you're taking the title, the attribute, characteristic, energy, and frequency of Baum Samedi, becoming that, and stating your spiritual name to the deceased, and then you give the command. Okay? So keep that in mind when you're working this, that on the left-hand path, instead of always saying, you're going to do this, and I'm doing it in the name of this God or that God, or you become the God. Don't be scared. Tradition tells you to be scared that you can't be God or goddess or all this shit. It's not that. We're on the left-hand path here, so do not be scared to take the attributes, to take the title and position. Okay? Now, the passionate encounter spell. On a night of a new moon, or, as I said earlier, y'all should already know what I'm going to say next. On the left-hand path, you go whenever the hell you feel it. At the hour of midnight, take with you a red candlestick. You should be at the graveyard before midnight. As soon as midnight hits, you take out the red candlestick, you place it on a simple altar that you created next to the grave. Don't get fancy elaborate. People go to the graveyard and they try to set up their whole altar from their house and then wonder why the cops and everybody else is coming for your ass. Keep it simple, please. Okay? Take the candle, put it on the candle holder if you have one. You should have brought one with you. All this shit should already be in your book bag. Okay? Light the candle. Now comes the enjoyable part. For some of y'all, you might feel a little crazy or weird this part. Sorry. Bring yourself to a sexual climax. Right there in the graveyard, in front of that grave. Get yourself horny and start doing what it takes to bring yourself to a sexual climax. And taking the discharged seed or juices and carefully anoint your candle. While you're anointing your candle, now if some of y'all are afraid to touch your own sexual fluids, it's a damn shame on you. Damn shame. That's some religious programming if you're afraid to touch your own sexual fluids. Anyways, keep moving. Okay, anoint your candle. And while you're doing that anointing of the candle, say, listen, I, Baum Samedi, Lord of the Dead, with your spiritual name after, do make a bargain. Okay? Now you can use two people for this, meaning two graves next to each other. If they're male and female, that's even better. That's more power behind your ritual. Should have said that before that, but it slipped my mind. You should have two graveyards, two tombs or graves next to each other that are male or female. So then you say, I as the Lord of Death, Baum Samedi, your spiritual name, do make a bargain with the name of the two people. I give to you which is now denied you. I give you the fruits of my loins, and in return, I ask for passionate encounter of my own. Okay, this passionate encounter. Okay? At the count of 3, you will leave your place of rest and do what I command. I promise as my covenant to you that I will never forget what you have done for me and will place flowers upon your grave on the first day of every month. Now, if you're going to do this, peoples, do not promise some shit you're not going to do and then forget to put the flowers there. Because some of these spirits could get funky on your ass if you forget. Just saying. Do not promise something you're not going to do. You open the doorway, you open the gateway for a ritual to be done. You wanted the response of the spirit's responding, then you don't come through. Hey, what you get after that, that's on you. Just saying. All right. Now count to 3 slowly. And then by the time you get to 3, the spirit should be off. So you sit there meditating. You sit there doing what you do. Once you feel that the spirits have responded, then you, at the count of 9, what you say out loud is at the count of 9, you will return to whence you came and resume your rest, having fulfilled the bargain. Count slowly from 1 to 9 or 9 to 1. Leave the candle burning. While you're doing that, clean yourself up and resume your normal activity. Now, you can leave the candle there overnight. All right? People in the graveyard are used to seeing all kinds of shit that wasn't there earlier in the day. It's going to be fine. Okay? So keep that in mind when you work this. Spell for protection. Some of y'all have asked for protection spells. I'm going to give you this one. All these rituals here I've done, and I try to do repetitively. I've kind of been off because I've been working with some other stuff, but like I said, my brother Antoine brought the calling of Baum Samedi back. So I'm back, bitches. Anyways, here we go. Spell for protection. Now, to do a protection spell, bring a circular piece of white paper. If you don't have one, bring a square piece of white paper, a black candle, and a cigar. On the night of the new moon, but as you know on the left-hand path, you know what I'm going to say. Anytime your spirit feels it, you don't got to wait for the new moon. Go when you feel it. Write your tormentor's name, the bully, the person who's tormenting you, the person who's pissing you off, who's trying to hurt you. Write the tormentor's name on a paper in red ink. Red ink. You can go to any occult store or Amazon and you can find red ink. Okay? And draw a circle around it. So you write your tormentor's name, and then you put a red circle around it. At midnight or 3 a.m., go to the graveyard and find the grave of a soldier or policeman. My brother Antoine knows how effective this is. For all those who don't know who Antoine is, you'll find out soon enough. Anyways, soldier or policeman. Someone who had a protective role in life. Particularly not an asshole policeman. Okay? Please. Me, I tend to work with a soldier because these policemen, you can't really know. If I know it's a soldier and he fought in the wars as a melanated person especially, that's who I'm going to work with. Take some small stones, throw them at the gravestone and say, listen, listen. Say the name of the deceased. You who lay sleeping, I, as Baron Samedi, or Baum Samedi, I place this petition with you. Place the paper on which you've written your request on the earth in front of the grave or on top of the grave tombstone, okay? Then place the black candle on top and say, this black candle is not for you, but for the one whose name I have given you, okay? Some people, I'm not with tradition. I keep telling you all this shit. I'm not with tradition. Some of y'all gonna recite the 109th chapter of Psalms. I ain't with that shit. I don't believe in nothing religious, no Bible, no Quran. I did all that for years. It nauseates me. But if you choose to, by all means, rip it. Bring that Bible and rip that 109 Psalm in your best church voice and recite the 109th Psalm over the grave with hands suspended in midair, finger spread open. Then afterward, take a puff on that cigar. Puff it up. Some of y'all don't do that. Some of y'all gonna roll your blunts. Some of y'all gonna bring your pipes. Whatever the hell you want to smoke, smoke it. And smoke it good. Smoke it till your little heart is content and feel good. All right? Then you take and blow the smoke over the gravestone. Don't get selfish and just smoke it all up and forget to blow it over the gravestone. Don't do it. Just saying. Then light the candle and let it burn. I mean, no. Sorry, I messed that one up. Shit. Messed that one up. Sorry. Okay. I mixed the two up because my notes, I used my notes parallel. So let me. Sorry. Shit. Okay. After you smoke the cigar over the gravestone, say, protect me, protect me, protect me. Then light the candle and let it burn. Say the name of your tormentor as you light the candle. And say, Spirit, the name of the Spirit, handle this business. Destroy this person. Whatever you want done to this person, say it. Okay? Do not be afraid to say it. So keep that in mind. I'm going to just leave it there because the other one's about love and returning somebody to love you. And let me tell you about that. I don't really fuck with love spells. I know how to do them. I've done them before. But the reason I don't fuck with it is because this. If you come to me and tell me, oh, my husband or my wife left me and I want him back, you know what I'm going to ask you? Why did they leave you? And I know by your answer, if it's some bullshit answer. And then the second question I'm going to ask you, well, if they left you, and they left you because maybe some bullshit you did, or whatever the case, or they just don't love you no more, that happens, then why the hell you want them back? Because then if you bring them back, you're basically bringing them back as a zombie, a slave. They have no mind of their own, and because you're that selfish, you want them back just to do what? That's why I don't really mess with love spells. That's why I don't go into it. But that's another story. All right? So I just share some graveyard rituals you can do. I decided to do this today. Like I said, I got inspired, reconnected back to Samedi. I worked with Samedi for years, but got reconnected after a conversation with my good brother Antoine. And I said, well, this goes right hand in hand with what we're working in these live classes, lectures about necromancy and how to work with spirits. But what I'm doing is I'm bringing you more of the African flavor. And that's what I'm going to start bringing more into in these lectures, more of the African flavor. One of the main things that I've realized over these years is a lot of our people, melanated people specifically, always are crying about going back to Africa. And they forego and forget the blood, sweat, and tears our ancestors went through to survive here. We want to go to Africa and do this and do that. We want to try this tradition, that tradition. That's all good and dandy. But we then forget, we all want to go to Kemet. Everybody wants to be Commission and all this crap. We forget about the blood, sweat, and tears that survived here. The hoodoo here in North America. I've had conversations with people, especially individuals of African American descent. And some of them will complain we don't have a culture, we don't have this. Some will say we have a culture, some of this. And then some don't really know shit about their own culture and history and things of that nature. But you have to remember and you have to respect this. Hoodoo is a tradition that stems from the Congo region of Africa. And it survived here in America even through the abuses of slavery, the abuses of discrimination, Jim Crow laws, segregation. It survived here. And if you want to know what's a powerful African tradition here, as a person in North America, you have one. It's called hoodoo. You don't have to do the voodoo thing. You don't have to, just because everybody else wants to do it. You have your own tradition, and you can work hoodoo without having to ever utilize an archetype, gods or goddesses. Okay? It works with a lot of herbs and earth magic and roots and things of that nature. Be proud of your shit. And you, on the left-hand path especially, can work some hoodoo shit. Because hoodoo is very closely similar to voodoo. It's similar in some aspects to Santeria. And it's similar to some aspects, excuse me, Palo Mayembe. It's very similar because Palo and hoodoo and some aspects of voodoo come from the Congo region of Africa. I didn't say they're the same shit, because believe me, they're not the same shit. For a person who's walked through those things and worked those things, you should already know they're not the same, but they're very similar. They all deal with herbs. Okay? Herbs is a staple of these traditions. Why? Because earth has a current, an energy. It's not the fluffy goddamn current and energy only, y'all. It's not the, I want to run outside with my feet running through the sand and the grass, and I want to make butterflies in the snow, and I want to love the tree and hug it kind of shit either. Because when you bury the dead in the earth, the death current is strong with the earth as well. Why do you think certain herbs are utilized to work with the spirits of that have been deceased? Because the death current is strong in that herb. So you have to tap into some of those things when you're working these traditions. Learn the herb traditions of hoodoo. Okay? Sure, it's not the same African herbs, but the Native Americans taught the Africans here the substitute to some of those herbs they had in Africa. Native American energy is very similar to African energy. Matter of fact, as we know already, the original Native Americans were of African descent. Bust it, if you like it or not, I don't give a shit. That's the reality. In time, they mixed with Asians who came here. Some groups of Indians from India came here. And then later on down, other groups of people mixed in. Okay? That's some traditions you can bring and bust off in the left-hand path without being religious. Without being religious and tying into the religious aspect of voodoo, or the religious aspect of Santeria, or the religious aspect of Palo, or the religious aspect of any of that. Okay? You don't have to. This is why, particularly when I mess with voodoo or voodoo, I tend to work specifically with the Ghede, because you don't really, even in Haiti, you don't have to be initiated to work with the Ghede. Everybody experiences death. At one time or another, we all will experience death. That's open to anybody and everybody. So that's why I work a lot with that. But be proud of what you have here in America and what was developed here in North America. If you're a Caribbean descent, be proud of what was developed there in the Caribbean. Don't shun your own traditions because we're so much, oh, I'm going back to this and I want to go back here. But this is your home too. Yes, I understand the treachery, torture, and abuse we went through here. But if you are God, you can master and overcome all of that, because all of that is supposed to be a part of making you stronger, more wise than ever before. So I'm going to open it up for anybody who may have questions. I know some people came in late. Some came in early. All right, so hit it. What's the question? Peace to everybody. I didn't say hello to Omar, Allure, Kush, Goddess, who always got the little kitty face. Jennifer Long, Dan, Prince Yababa, Katir. Who else I meant? Glory G or G. Girl Bye. You know I gotta always give a shout out to Girl. All right. All right, so let's get it popping with questions. Let me go back up here, see if there's any question. Because y'all like to be sneaky and throw questions when... Listen, Antoine, I'm not a tantric master. Not yet, anyways. Anyways. If I was, I would never say it out loud, brother. That's right. Omar M. Death current knowledge is a hidden secret of secret societies. For example, Omar and I have had discussions about Sufism. Some people don't realize that some of these Sufi mystics were also magicians. And in Sufism, when a Sufi saint passes on, he's honored. The monument dedicated to that Sufi saint then becomes a prayer ground for those individuals who honor and respected that saint. That energy is constantly fed to that spirit, but if you know how to tap into that energy of the people who are giving prayers to that spirit, you can, on the left-hand path, you know how to empower yourself even more. Well, I know here in Florida, I know of a cemetery. Some of them are closed at 8 o'clock. A lot of them close during the day. Why do you think that is? Because here in Florida, we got a lot of connected and associated with that. Palo, voodoo. So, yeah, they started closing graveyards at 8 o'clock here, particularly because that's after 8 o'clock, it gets dark, and they know people going there to do work. So they try to close that off. Some of the cemeteries here have gates and everything. You can't even get in there. It's difficult. I ain't telling you to break no law. That's all I'm going to say. It's difficult. Because you can't point the finger and say, Ravana Noon, a.k.a. Dark Cultist 99, said I should break this law and go do some work. You didn't hear me say that shit. So do not say I said it. All right? What up, Jennifer? All right, you needed this exact info. Hope you caught most of it. All right, let's go down here. Ah, shit, the fluffy I choose to be happy is in the house. Who looking good? Girl, bye, who looking good? If you're giving me a compliment, I take it with all sincerity and humbleness. Well, I ain't that humble motherfucker, but I take it with sincerity. If it was to me. Now, you could be talking with somebody else. They need to take it with sincerity. Anyway. All right, where we at? Okay. Katir OK says, what is the difference between Legba and Baum? Because they have a lot of similarities like graveyard, cigar, etc. All right. Papa Legba is more of deity of the crossroads. Okay. Particularly for the living. Okay. The difference is Papa Legba has, if you're going to work with any of the lower, you have to get permission from Papa Legba first. Okay? So you do the work with Papa Legba first. It's almost symbolic of, let's say, if you're going to do work on your higher chakras, you have to master and cleanse and heal the root chakra first before you can do work on the higher chakras. Now, people will try to bypass that all the time. So I'm so spiritual, I'm so enlightened that I'm just going to focus on my brow chakra. Fuck out of here. That means all the shit that you got down here that's messed up, you ain't dealt with. Well, symbolically, Papa Legba is that root chakra that opens the gateway to the higher realms of working with the different lower. Baum Samedi is the Lord of the crossroad of death. He meets you there at death. Symbolically speaking, he meets you there at death. Okay, that's his only station, is the Lord of Crossroads of death. Papa Legba is the Lord of the Crossroads for the living. Okay, and to work with any of the other lower. That's the main difference. If you go into Santeria, okay, you have a legua. Some call them a shoe. Really, they're different, but you know, through time, things got mixed in together. Same thing. Before you do any work in Santeria, you have to get a legua's permission, so to speak, your root chakra's permission to do work. I'm just using that as a symbol of what it could possibly, you know, what it means, breaking it down in simplistic terms. But yes, they do have a similar attributes. They even look similar in some of the respects of how they're depicted. That's the main difference. Okay. Okay. You were doing work with crystals, but it didn't mention that they are to be no. Okay, you don't have to do anything with the crystals other than hold it in your hand or put it on your altar or however you want to work with that crystal. First of all, crystal, when you get a crystal, when you buy a crystal, you should cleanse the crystal. I'm sure many of y'all know that, but if you don't, there's different ways to cleanse the crystal. Okay, you can take it, you can put water on it. If you're close to a lake, ocean, whatever, you could put that kind of water on it. You could put Florida water in there too. Okay, you're basically cleansing because other people have touched this. Obviously, before you got it, it didn't just fall into a bag and then you got it. Somebody else touched it. Okay, so you cleanse that crystal and then you charge it up with your own energy by holding it in your hand. Some do it their right hand. I put it in my left hand. Okay, there's a reason for that, but we'll go into that another day. So the way you work with the crystals is basically, it's a lot of touching with crystals or a lot of charging with crystals. You can charge it in the sun, in the moonlight, and then charge it with your energy. True indeed, Jennifer Long. I'm happy to hear that that homework took you to another level. And I like that little top hat. That's cute. Understand this, y'all. I don't know if this happened to some of y'all yet. Okay? But when you work with the death current, you're working with one of the most potent forces or energy on this planet because everything experiences death, from bacteria to a human organism. Everything experiences death. It's a metamorphosis to another state of existence. That's a potent form of energy. However, I don't know if it's happened to some of y'all yet. If it has, you can say so. If it hasn't, whatever. The point is this: when you open that gateway to death, you're also going to feel another potent force coming through. Some of y'all could type it in there because you know what I'm referring to. It's going to be really strong, and all of a sudden be like, well, I'm working with death. Why am I feeling this kind of way? If you know what it is, type the word in there. If not, I'll say it in a few. But let me keep looking at this here. That's right, Antoine. Tobacco and cigars is associated with spirits of the dead. Tobacco is a common offering to the dead. As well, tobacco is offensive to certain spirits that, especially spirits that may mean you harm. So tobacco sometimes is utilized to keep those kind of spirits away. All right? This is why they use it a lot in certain traditions. There you go. There you go. Y'all got it. That sexual energy, that craving of sex. The more you work with death, the hornier you freaky people are going to get. And I know some of y'all freaky. I can feel it through the computer. And I'm playing. But anyways, it's going to get worse. So you got to balance the shit out. This is why they tell you after you work with death, you got to do something opposite of death to balance the energy out. Because if you go straight death all the time, that shit's going, it can get to you. So you got to remember that you're living and do things of the living. And a lot of times that activates your sexual energy to balance the shit out. because sex is really the opposite of death. It may not seem like it, but sex is what gives life. It creates life. Remember that. So the creation of life is different than the taking of life, which is death. All right. So wait, I started working with Papa Leg, but a few weeks ago, then a good friend of mine died this week. So does that mean I should now be working with the Baron? Yes. It could mean that you should work with the death energy, especially if it's somebody who passed recently. Let me tell you this, y'all. If somebody passes that you know, within the first 72 hours, you should do a ritual for that person. If you're not able to do it, if they don't have a funeral right away or they take their ashes or whatever, you should do a ritual within the first 72 hours for that person to have the gates open for them of death, for a journey into death that is not a journey that's going to keep them binded or stuck. This is why in ancient Kemet, they would do these mortuary rituals in the first 72 hours, and then Anpu would do the rites over that dead body, okay? So that the spirit could ascend out of that body free without constraints, okay? So in the fact that one of your people that you know passed, you should do a ritual for them, particularly working a ritual with Baun Samedi, okay? Or the Ghede, whatever ones come to you, you should go to the graveyard. If they're already buried, go to the graveyard and do one as soon as you can and communicate with that spirit. Because that's a symbol that death is around you. So that energy, that current is an energy you should keep connecting with. There is a chakra that we know little to nothing about called the mouth of God, located on the back of the neck. I think it's activated when you're astral traveling. Yes, that same chakra is also connected with sex chakra, which is that same location back there. All right, so let's see. Yes, Antoine. Aaron makes you a horny nigga. Best believe. I know that all too well. Aaron is a mother freaking freak. Why Baun Samedi is a perfect archetype to work with on the left-hand path? Because Baun Samedi is a non-conformist. Baun Samedi is against tradition of society, programming, and condition. So when Baun Samedi comes, he's very lewd and lascivious. He's very pointed. He's very straightforward. He'll use cuss words in a humorous way, but he's trying to get your attention that it's not about this spooky wooky shit that y'all people are about. It's a perfect archetype to work with on the left-hand path. That's why I work with Baun Samedi for the last 3, 4, 5 years now. I've been working a lot with Baun Samedi. That energy itself is potent, okay? So when you do that, realize that yes, when you work Baun Samedi, it's all love, it's all good. You're working with the death spirits, all that. Don't freak out if all of a sudden you start having these freaky sexual thoughts. Because Baun Samedi, that energy likes that shit. And a lot of, why do you think one of the graveyard rituals I gave y'all, you utilize your sexual fluid at the graveyard? Because a lot of the Ghede are sexual, they're sex spirits, so to speak. They feed off of sexual energy. I told y'all this before, but that ritual really stated it for y'all. That's some of the energy it feeds off. All right. Now, if a spirit comes asking you for a cigarette and you don't smoke, you don't got to smoke the cigarette. Okay? If you choose to, you can light the cigarette and leave it on the altar, of course, on a smoke, on a plate that's fireproof, and leave it there. But tell them I'm symbolically leaving this for you to smoke. You don't have to always smoke it. Okay? You can symbolically leave it there as a gesture that I understand you want to smoke. So here, smoke, but I just don't do that. Okay? Okay, Omar, you can't kind of want to stimulate that chakra. You got to stimulate it all the way, brother. Stimulate. You can't kind of stimulate. Go for it. All in. Wherever it takes you, that's where it takes you. All right? But consider this, y'all. If you work in any aspect, okay, on the left-hand path, and if you're really attracted, which I can tell by how many people came into the room, even though this was short notice, that a lot of people are attracted to this African energy and frequency and vibration that is naturally inside of us as melanated people. We're attracted to that. Okay? What the problem is that a lot of us are also attracted to the left-hand path, which for years has always been very European or Eurocentric oriented. So we kind of find ourselves in the dilemma working on the left-hand path saying, well, how the hell can I still work my African shit but still be on the left-hand path? Because a lot of this African shit has a lot of religious dogma and crap that I ain't feeling, but I still am attracted and work with that frequency. So you got to understand, this is why, and this wasn't planned, y'all. I don't know if y'all noticed, but Brother Beniti's been also on the voodoo and spirit tip, working with the African energy and frequency a lot. And me and him have not communicated for a while because we've been very busy. That just shows you, and then Brother Antoine, when we do communicate, that just shows you how we connect. Like without even realizing it, we're all on the same tip. That's because of walking on the left-hand path for so many years, I got tired. I mean, tired of everything being some European-centered crap. Okay? It's the Luciferian. Yeah, I love some of that Luciferian shit. I love the principle. I love some of that stuff. But I just listen. I can't Samael and Lilith all day and night either. All right. Sometimes I need a little oil in my life. Sometimes I need a little, you know what I'm saying? I need a little Sakma in there. Sometimes I need a little Maman Brigitte. Maman Brigitte's a little freaky something, but hey, that's another story. That's what I need. I can't always be into this and oh, hail thou, Akraman, with the left nut in your mouth, open the doorway to this. That's not me. So I've been finding myself bringing out this aspect of it more, because if you are of African descent and this is what you're feeling, but you want to work the left-hand path, then we're going to do that without the dogma and the religious crap. So you got to understand, open yourself up to wherever your spirit guides you. You have a powerful system of traditions without the religion, without the dogma, without that crap, that go back since we've been here in the West. We created. Santeria is different than Ifa. Yes, some of it is similar, but it's different because it was created here as a way for the slaves to keep their things alive. Voodoo is different than what would be found in Benin or Dahomey. Okay? It's different. It's similar, but it's different because of our existence here. We have to find ways to create and bring things together and keep it alive. Palo Mayembe is different than the traditions they have in Congo. Similar, but it's different. But it's some shit we created here to survive through slavery, discrimination, segregation, abuse, all this stuff. So why wouldn't it resonate with you? I understand why it resonates with you, but understand you don't have to give in to the whole tradition thing. You don't have to do the whole religious thing. You don't have to get initiated and all that stuff. If you choose to, that's fine for your experience. But don't do it and then become a religified fool afterward. And you're a straight fool afterwards. And then you wonder why you back under the same spell of Christianity, because it's the religious crap came back out and just took over you. So you can work this stuff on a left-hand path without the religious dogma and traditions binding you and holding you down. If this is what you're attracted to, let it keep ripping. Let it follow. Let it take you where it's supposed to go. Well, that's all you could do, Omar. All you could do is study, practice, and you're going to get there. You're going to get there. It's going to open the door for you. More and more you practice, the more and more you study, that door is going to be open for you to work it, to make it happen. So you got to understand that aspect. Okay. Now, any other questions? Because I know some of y'all got questions. Y'all trying to be all cool and stuff because it's a Thursday night. Some of y'all want to go watch preseason football and stuff like that. But if you have any questions, let them out now. I normally don't open up questions for this long length of time, but tonight I'm doing it. So whatever, it doesn't have to be just this topic. It could be anything. Ask anything. Take this as some advantage because it doesn't have to be the time. I'm just freestyling tonight. I felt good. I said, let's rock this topic, and whatever y'all want to talk, let's talk. It can be anything. Anything. Girl, bye. You can make an altar for the Pillsbury Doughboy if that's what you choose to. Let me tell you why I say that. Some of y'all seen Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Part 1 and 2. And you have one of my favorite characters is Groot. That may seem like a funny character and a loving character, but that's some real shit. And I'm going to tell you what I mean. Everything has a spirit. There are tree spirits, and there's masters of those tree spirits. Lord of the Rings kind of showed that, but, again, it's Europeanized, but there is tree spirits. Patrice Malidoma Somé, in his books, I can't remember the title of the book, and I have it here. I think of Water and Spirit, Blood and Spirit, whatever. I know Antoine going to type it in because his ass on it. But anyways, he talked about the different spirits that he went through being a part of the Dagara tribe in Burkina Faso, okay, which is north of Ghana. And he talked about the different spirits that he saw. He saw tree spirits. He saw these water spirits. He saw these little midgets, okay, which were tiny people that were like barely up to his ankle. There's all kinds of stuff that we kind of lose sight of because we're so, in this modern society, we're so into technology and all this stuff that it kind of numbs us to the spirit world and the things of the spirit. Yeah, it is, of water and spirit. See, what I tell y'all, yo, I know Antoine. I told you he was going to type it in. That nigga be on it. Anyways, so yes, you can create an altar to a tree spirit. Now, be careful, because, all right, I'm going to just say this, girl. Do not bring a whole tree into your house. I'm not saying you're going to do this, but, we as Nubian people trying to get a little outrageous and exaggerated. Next thing you know, people got a whole tree in their damn house. No, it's not what I said. Yes, you could create a tree altar. Get symbols of a tree or take a piece of a tree and put it in your house. Okay? But do not carry a 20-foot tree into your house and then wonder why you broke everything on the way to your altar room. Okay? I'm just saying. Because, we get a little outrageous. So, yes, create an altar. Put the symbols of a tree. Put the environment of a tree and create it on your altar. Okay? Put it there. And dress it up how you want to. Because there are tree spirits. For y'all who haven't read this book by Patrice Malidoma Somé of Water and Spirit, get the book. He tells you about his initiation. He tells you what he saw and the things he experienced. Some of y'all have experienced and seen this. If you haven't, it may open the door for you to do that. Okay. Okay, Katir, okay, you can call on anything you want to on the left-hand path, so long as you remember that you're the God. And I'm going to say this again and again and again till we get it. You're the God. And what I mean by that, how can what was created hurt the creator? Let me say it again. How can what was created hurt the creator? Y'all do realize, and if you don't believe me, keep digging, keep traveling, keep doing your work. We created the gods as human beings. As a collective unconscious, we created the gods. So how can the creator be hurt, enslaved, and controlled by that which was created? So yes, you can call on any damn god you want to. or any spirit you want to. Remember, and I'm going to say this again, there's a difference, and some people don't realize this. There's a difference between spirits and gods. A spirit is something that was once living in physical form here on the planet Earth that had blood flowing through his vein. A god is a metaphor, a symbol, or archetype of a characteristics, a power, a personality of its highest vibration in nature that people try to obtain or try to reach to. The problem is we spookified it thousands of years ago and started worshiping the very thing we created and forgot that it was created by us as people. So we're worshiping the things that we created, and then the very thing we created, we're afraid of, we're fearful of, we bow down to, we grovel. It never made sense to me. And it's not just now. I've been thinking like this for years. My moms used to get upset because I used to ask her these same damn questions. And so listen, you can call out anything you want to, so long as you remember you are the God and you are in control of that spirit. Period. All right, let me go to the next spot. Okay. Elegua, one major difference. I'm going to just show you one quick major difference. Elegua is usually a young child in Ifa or Santeria. Papa Legba is usually an older individual. That's one quick major difference. I could go on and on, but that's one quick major difference. Okay? They're different because Elegua is usually associated with a young child. Ashu Elegua, they interchange it in Ifa and they mess it all up because they're really different too. But Elegua is usually a younger child, trickster spirit of a younger child, whereas Legba, Papa Legba is more of an older individual, and in my personal experience, stronger energy. Okay? And Legba is more a trickster spirit. Legba is more like, don't fuck with me spirit. I'll take your ass out. Okay? Because remember, the dark side of Papa Legba, symbolically, the dark side of Papa Legba is Met Kafu. Okay? That's the darker side of Papa Legba. That Met Kafu is no joke. Straight dark energy there. Where that's some of the major differences there. All right, so let's see. No, there is no preference for me. Whatever I feel, wherever I'm directed to, when my spirit is taking me, that's what I'm gonna work. Whether it's with spirits, whether it's jinns, whether it's this, whether it's wherever my spirit's taking me, that's the journey. That's where I go, and I don't question it. I just follow the journey, because one thing we have to start doing more often is trusting your spirit. Trust your own spirit. We don't do that enough, and thus we end up in predicaments or situations. And one way to do that is when you're working magic, sorcery, whatever, trust your spirit. Because the stronger you put trust in that spirit, the stronger your willpower becomes. The more success you'll have in your workings. It doesn't matter. Wherever, it could be deities, it could be whatever. Wherever my spirit takes me, that's what I'm flowing with. Right now, I'm flowing with Kali and Baum Samedi. Kali because I'm on some destruction, some death shit. People are getting acting up, getting a little beside themselves. I ain't playing that. I've never been the type to play that. You come at me, I'm gonna take you out. Spiritually, I'm gonna take you out. If you want to take it physically, we could do that too. But I'm just saying, you come at me, I'm gonna take you out. I don't play that game. I don't play that. Give them a second chance. Fuck out of here. You disrespect me, I'm gonna take you out. The biggest thing, listen, anybody wants to ask me, and if y'all, somebody's gonna ask one day, but they're gonna hear it in this video. My biggest pet peeve is disrespect. Antoine knows that. He's known me for years. He knows that if I feel that I've been disrespected, you want to see that other side come out. The other side is a straight warrior and don't play. Okay? So disrespect is a big thing with me. So if I could be working whatever, but once that happens, that warrior energy of Kali came out, and then the Baun Samedi came with it too. Because let me explain something real quick, y'all. Everybody has this misconception of Baun Samedi that he's this loving, caring, freestyling guy and all. Let me tell you something. That's not Baun Samedi, y'all. That's characteristics of Baun Samedi, but Baun Samedi is a straight killer. Don't get it twisted. He's fun. He's this. Yeah, but he's a straight killer. And when you work with Baun Samedi, you will experience that power of death in ways you've never imagined before. And that energy is very death oriented and destructive. And if you crossed or a spirit crosses you, a spirit tries to cross you, an individual tries to cross you, anybody, that energy is very destructive. It can destroy people. People get this misconception by Samedi because of James Bond, okay, and the depiction of Baun Samedi there. You do realize that, can't remember which Disney movie was it, Princess and the Frog or one of these damn things. Baun Samedi was depicted in there too, okay. It's a very aggressive spirit. It's not just a free loving spirit. It's very aggressive. So that's why when Kali came, that spirit also came out, conversing with my brother, brought it out even more. All right. Do you physically see spirits? That's a good question. And let me tell you this. If a spirit is no longer in the physical, then how can you see them? Think about that. When you are communicating with a spirit, you do realize that spirit is just energy. It's just energy. You are interpreting how you want to see that spirit based upon what was in your mind or what is in your mind, let's say your family member, and how you last saw them. So you interpret that energy that you may see physically, let's say, and interpret it as the image of your grandmother, your image of whoever. But is it there physically, like in a physical sense, like the body and what it had before? No, it's not. The body's dead. The body decomposed. So your mind is basically using the image that's programmed there of the individual that you're contacting or communicating with. That's what you see. So I'm going to just answer it like that. All right. Any other questions before we wrap it up? Because, okay, I am 44999. All right, shit, snuck up on me. I didn't even see it till the last second. Dragon energy is very powerful. There's certain things let's say, for example, I have Michael Kelly is a good individual to get working with the draconian energy. I have a book called The Draconian Consciousness that goes into that. But draconian energy or dragon energy is very powerful to work with. Would I say it's for everybody? Fuck no. But if that's what you want, that's a strong thing to work with. Trust. That takes you into the basic subconscious mind. It takes you into the most primal part of yourself when you're working with the draconian energy. Some people are not ready for that, so it's not for everybody, but it is something really strong that is good to work with. Let me say this, Omar. Some of these billionaires, some of these individuals, they're occultists. We may not know that because they're not walking around with symbols and pentagrams and Baphomets and all this shit on their shirt, but they're occultists. And they know how to work rituals for enhancing their finances, to strengthen their finances. So yes, as a business person, you should be working rituals to enhance your finances. I run 2 businesses. I work rituals all the time for financial success, creative ideas to expand the business, things of that nature. So you should be able to do that. Why do you, okay, let me say this, y'all. Why do you think I don't charge a red cent for a lot of this stuff? I only do, sometimes we'll charge for a reading consultation. That's because I don't need money from y'all. I have my own money. You understand? I run two businesses. I'm a business person, and I use my occult powers to be even more successful in business. I do rituals and things of that nature. This graveyard ritual, I told you, to get financial success, to get money and go to graveyard. I did that before. So if you're a businessman, you should be working it. All right? Any other questions? It could be anything, left field, right field. Bring it. Throw me one crazy question, somebody, before we get off here. One super crazy, off the wall question. All right. Let me put my email in here. I always forget to do this. Then people will be like, how can I get a hold of you? So there's my email for people who want to stay in touch, stay in contact. If you have any questions, hit me up. I know some of y'all may not want to ask questions on the chat because it's a personal question or some question that ain't right for the chat. I respect that. If you want to hit me up personally, you could do that and hit me up with your personal question or statement or whatever. That's my email, darkoccultist99@outlook.com. But hopefully y'all staying doing these exercises, these practices that we've been talking about. And Sunday we'll go on to part 3, do some more exercises, a little more discussion. And then we'll finish up next week with part 4. After that, I'm open for ideas on different topics that we could discuss. I know somebody threw me this topic in an email. Nice catching you too, girl. But I know y'all pictures are so small, I can't see none of y'all. I wish I could see y'all on webcam too. It ain't easy being on this webcam, yo. You notice everything about yourself. You be like, damn, that's how I look? Shit. Anyways, so somebody said bring up the topic of... Nah, I'll leave that for later. But yeah, they did say, can we do a sex magic thing again? So I'll eventually get back into talking about sex magic. Please, if we do a topic on sex magic, leave the religion at the door, please. Okay? All right, y'all. It's been fun. It's been nice. It's time for me to get off this. It's time for me to relax. Oh, by the way, this is the new computer. That's why I look different. The graphics, everything looks different. Finally got it to work. Good, girl, bye. As long as you have no religion, and we can take some nitty-gritty questions. All right? We can talk about some nitty-gritty stuff. The minute people start talking about all this other, I'm not going to go far into the sex magic stuff because that's killing the point. Got to realize if you're working with death spirit, you're working with sex energy. So it's only a natural gravitation. We go from here into there. All right? All right. Nice talking to y'all. I'll see y'all Sunday at 7 p.m. Peace. Okay, one last question. What was it? Okay, can be any energy to help you bring out your true self if our lost were away. Okay, are you saying, can you use any energy to help you if you feel lost within yourself or you're not sure of your true self? Yes, you could use anything. Particularly what I suggest when you're in a situation like that is you use more of the destructive energy. And what I mean is you need to destroy the obstacles, the barriers and boundaries you created around yourself to protect that which you're hiding the most, whether you're not even aware of, whatever pain, wound, or trauma you're hiding the most within you. You need a Kali energy. You need a Sekhmet energy. You need something like a Baum Samedi is even a strong energy to use for that. You need a destructive warrior type of energy like Ogun. You could use a Shango type of energy. That's the masculine side if you need to tap into that to really open the door for that, Katero, okay? It could be any energy, just so long as you remember you the God. But if you need anything that you really need to tap into, find yourself, if you feel lost or you feel disconnected, destructive energy, because those obstacles and blockages are creating the illusions from you reaching and tapping into that part of yourself you need to connect with. All right. So I'm going to leave you there. All right, y'all. Peace.